Apologies for that slight mix-up in the videos there, but we will be getting to our reporter Irene Mchuma Odim in a few. But to begin us off, Deputy Inspector General of Police Noor Gabo has condemned the recent standoff between police officers and medical officers who wanted to cross the Blue Post roadblock in Thika. Gabo said investigations have been launched to unearth what might have transpired to cause the commotion between the two essential services providers.
Journalist, you identify against the...
This was the situation on Monday at the Blue Post roadblock in Thika. Officers from the General Service Unit blocking medical officers from crossing despite being part of essential service providers, a matter which has prompted the National Police Service to start investigations into the matter.
Every incident will be investigated and we shall be able to ensure that we cooperate, because the essential services, the police are all working under one umbrella to make sure that we save this country from the coronavirus.
Deputy Inspector General of Police Noor Gabo saying they will not accept Kenyans who are on the front line to combat the spread of the disease to be discriminated.
Doctors are essential for the work, and we have clearly given a guideline that they should be cleared so long as somebody is saving life, and we are here as police officers to save life and property.
Speaking when he assessed the daily operations at the Rironi roadblock on Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, Gabo reiterated that the police service will work in collaboration with other departments to curb the spread of COVID-19.
And we want to urge Kenyans that they are able to cooperate with the police in terms of fulfilling this guideline.
He either warned those who will try to cross the roadblocks without proper documentation that they will be deterred. Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, the coronavirus has infected more than 3 million people and killed at least 210,000 worldwide, according to Johns Hopkins University. The World Health Organization say there are concerns about increasing trends in Africa, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and parts of Asia.
Worldwide, the number of people confirmed to have the coronavirus has risen to more than 3 million, and at least 200,000 have died, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University, and some 892,000 people have recovered. More than 56,000 people have died in the United States, representing more than a quarter of all deaths worldwide. Mainland China reported 6 new coronavirus cases on April 27, 3 of them involving travelers from overseas. The National Health Commission says total cases in China now stands at 82,836. The country reported no new deaths. In UK, Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the country is at the moment of maximum risk in the coronavirus outbreak, as he urged people not to lose patience with the lockdown. It comes as the latest daily figures show a further 360 people died with the coronavirus in hospitals, taking the total number of deaths to 21,092. Pakistan recorded 20 deaths from the coronavirus on Monday, the highest since the outbreak began, and bringing the total death toll to 301. The number of cases rose by 751 to 14,079. Elsewhere, Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam has announced that civil servants will start returning to work and public services will resume next Monday. The government will also begin loosening some COVID-19 anti-epidemic measures after the city reported no new confirmed cases for the 4th time in 8 days on Monday. And Australia's iconic Bondi Beach reopened for surfers and swimmers Tuesday, but the beach remains off limits to everyone else. Australia has over 6,700 cases of coronavirus, 5,600 recoveries, and 84 deaths. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
The new number. From that, we are headed to the Nairobi CBD. You do remember Health CS Mutahi Kagwe mentioned that restaurants could open and even eateries and hotels, but under stringent measures. Irene Mchuma Odim is on standby and is bringing us the latest. Irene, if you can hear me, what is the latest?
Troy, good afternoon. We are coming to you live from the Central Business District in one of the hotels along the Koinange Street, and this follows the government directive to allow restaurants to operate, though under tough conditions, including one that will require hoteliers to have their employers tested for COVID-19 before they are allowed to operate in these hotels. And also clients who will come to the hotels will have to comply to the government's directive. This includes testing of your temperatures and ensuring that you sanitize and also wash your hands. And we are here at Salehe Safaris Hotel just to find out whether they are welcoming the move, the impact that it will have to the tourism sector, considering that it is one of the industries that has been affected with the COVID-19. More employees have lost their jobs, not only in the capital, but also in the vast Mara in other counties like Mombasa. And tourism sector is one that earns the region, the country rather, billions in revenue. Just before we share a lot, I'm being joined now by Faith, one of the managers at this hotel. Tell us about the new directive by the government in allowing restaurants to operate, though under tough conditions.
Okay, as a Safaris team, we have embraced the move of the government by ensuring every customer who comes in is sanitized and we have their temperatures taken. We are also ensuring social distancing because we also care about our customers and we care about ourselves.
And how are we going to implement this? Are you ready to have all the staff being tested for coronavirus before they embark duty?
Yes, it's of course every customer or every of our staff will have to be tested because at the end of the day, it's of our own good.
Tell me about the measures that you have put in the kitchen, in the restaurant area where clients come and sit, in ensuring that we are not spreading COVID-19.
We have several measures here, as in one is when buying goods from the supermarket or from the stores, we sanitize them with vinegars and what have you. And then we ensure our hygiene is high. We ensure even our chefs or our cooks they are very well tested. We have their medicals to ensure they are all fit to work.
Troy, this is one of the hotels that I've been able to visit this afternoon, and earlier on I was at the CJ, still on Koinange Street, and unfortunately they're still conducting the takeaway services. They're saying that they are waiting for the top management to embrace the new directive and ensure that all the staff have been tested for COVID-19. And this is the mood here from our observance that we have been able to conduct in various parts of the city. You'll find that clients are sitting at a distance. You'll only find clients occupying one location, and perhaps this is from the directive that the government asked hoteliers to ensure that they adhere to measures that will help in ending COVID-19. Remember, the tourism sector is one that earns the country billions in revenue. When we go back to the statistics from last year, in 2019, though the report was released in January, the country earned 163 billion compared to 2018, where we had earnings of 157 billion. And when these results were being announced by the Cabinet Secretary in the tourism industry, Najib Balala, he said that the leading country in arrivals to Kenya is the United States, followed by Uganda and then Tanzania. The good news is the arrivals grew from 2,025,206 in 2018 to 2,048,000 in 2019. And Troy will be keeping you up to speed with the latest developments from this end. We are going to visit several hotels to find out whether the hoteliers and the top management are willing to adhere to the new directive by the government. Back to you, Troy.
Thank you so much, Madam Odim, there with that report. The hospitality industry was has experienced mass job losses and a ray of hope after the Ministry of Health yesterday announced the reopening, albeit under very stringent conditions. Moving on, Mathira Technical and Vocational College in Nyeri County has begun mass production of face masks to be distributed free of charge in the constituency as a way of supplementing government's effort in fighting the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Mathira MP Rigathi Gachagua says the facility will be producing 5,000 face masks every day for distribution on daily basis.
The fight against COVID-19 has received a boost after Mathira Technical and Vocational College in Nyeri County embarked on production of 200,000 face masks monthly. Speaking during the launch of the exercise, Mathira Member of Parliament Rigathi Gachagua said the distribution exercise will be done by Nyumba Kumi initiative leaders, chiefs and their assistants in the constituencies for free.
Our people here have no money. The little that they have, they are using it for food. So I have come to intervene to produce 200,000 masks for the people of this area, including young children, to be distributed door to door at no cost.
The legislature was, however, quick to point out that the face mask will only benefit Mathira residents, and those outside Mathira constituency will get it at a cost.
Once we produce 200,000 for Mathira, we will be able to produce for other people to sell them at cost. But for the people of this region, it will be free. But for other regions, those who want to come and buy from here, they will be sold at cost.
Tea farmers in the area have, however, been cautioned against entering the tea centers to deliver tea without wearing masks. Ben Chumba reporting for Channel 1 News.
12 minutes past the hour, we're taking a short commercial break, but when we come back, business and sports, not forgetting more measures to combat the COVID-19 pandemic.
Tonight on Corner.
Unajua nilikuwa akiangalia files za babako za kitambo, sheria na masharti.
What? Hata dada yako anazitumia?
You will all sign new contracts. Exclusive contracts. Any extra fights will have to be approved by me.
The Juakari operators and others, our saloonists, Mama Mboga, our barbers, our economy to a large extent depends on you. We cannot allow Kenyans to die because of non-distancing in any sector. So those of you who are carrying out the hair cutting business in barbershops, in saloons, I am appealing to you today. Ensure that social distancing, fumigation of your working places, masks are used at all times. Just assume that everybody is positive and now deal with that situation. Participation of our citizens in the fight against the disease would be our key success factor.
Transport between Tana River and Garissa counties has been paralyzed after a key road linking the two regions was completely cut off by floods at Duka Notu area. For the last 6 days, movement of goods and people have been hampered, given that the road is key as it connects those transporting goods from Mombasa to Garissa and vice versa. Meanwhile, the national government has started distributing relief food to more than 1,800 families displaced by floods in Garissa County after River Tana burst its banks 3 days ago.
Hundreds of farmers and transporters in Tana River and Garissa counties are counting huge losses following heavy flooding in Dukanotu area that has also cut off communication between the two counties. Currently, over 30 heavy commercial vehicles carrying goods are stuck on both sides of the road for the past 1 week after the road became completely impassable. So far, there is no movement in and out from Hola to Madogo and forcing people to cross the flooded road on foot, while trucks with food, fruits and other essential products are stranded and not knowing the next move.
Gari yangu ilikuwa imebeba maembe. Sasa ili na imeoza hiyo maembe yote imeozea juu, hata mwenye maembe sasa hata anaenda hasara.
Kila wakati mvua inaponyesha lazima tutalala masiku kadhaa kwa hii barabara. Kwa nini serikali sione na ikachukua hatua ya kutengeneza? Kwa sababu wengi wamepata hasara, wafanya biashara wa watermelon, wenye magari pia wamepata hasara.
Kenya Red Cross officials are on the ground to ascertain the magnitude of the situation.
Tumeweza kupata kwamba njia imekatika na kwa siku ya 3 leo usafiri umekuwa ni shida. Kwa hiyo kuna gari ambao walikuwa wamebeba maembe, wamebeba watermelon na pia kina mama ambao walikuwa wanavuka hapa wameshindwa kupita.
Elsewhere, the national government has started distributing relief food to more than 1,800 families displaced by floods in Garissa County after River Tana burst its banks 3 days ago. The food items that included 550 bags of rice and 20 cartons of cooking oil were distributed to the victims camping at NEP Technical, Young Muslim, ATC and Yuga Girls Primary Schools by Area County Commissioner Meru Mwangi.
Tunaenda tukiwapatia chakula ndio waweze kujifurahia pamoja na serikali, hasa wakati huu wa Ramadhani, na chakula ambayo imeleta ni ya serikali. Pia tuko na chakula na non-food items kutoka kwa World Food Program na pia wafadhili wengine ambao wamejumuika na sisi.
Meanwhile, over 1,000 families affected by floods in a Marti area of Narok County have received food relief from the local member of County Assembly. The families were affected after River Mara burst its banks, sweeping away herds of cattle, among other property.
If we can get a long-term solution to hii mkasa ya floods, tungeshukuru sana. And I want to call upon all the national leaders, the majority leader, the area MP, the senator and the governor, waweze kujadiliana na Minister for Energy na pia waangalie hizi floods instead ya kuachilia watu, because every now and then tunapoteza watu, tunapoteza homesteads, tunapoteza livestock, livelihoods, mashamba zote zinaenda, manyumba zinaenda, machine, everything.
Ambia wale iko karibu na mtu hapana rudi tena, kaeni kwanza, sababu juu mambo ya kesho. Kingine atanyesha huko juu, ukose mtu ya kupiga simu kusema maji yamekuja, unasugia tu maji yamekuingia. Kwa hivyo kaeni kwanza, tuone dalili ya mvua iko namna gani. Hii inaleta flood situation.
Report by the local Children's Department in Trans Nzoia County has raised concern over an increase in cases of gender-based violence and teenage pregnancies in the region. And according to the report, cases of child abuse have skyrocketed as schools remain shut due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Over 11,000 gender-based and child abuse cases are said to have been reported in 2019 in Trans Nzoia County, with the number projected to go up due to the current pandemic that has put the lives of many children and women at high risk.
Hiyo ndio hofu yetu kubwa sana, kwa sababu miaka miwili iliyopita Trans Nzoia ilikuwa na visa 12,600, hiyo ni 2017-2018. Alafu 2018-2019 tumekuwa na visa 11,979. Ukiangalia hivyo visa, hivyo vilifanyika wakati hali ilikuwa salama.
According to a report by the local Children Department, cases of gender-based violence and teenage pregnancies are on the rise in the county.
Kama unakaa na majirani na uko na watoto wavulana na wasichana, wajue yafuatayo kulingana na Sexual Offences Act, kwamba mtu akilala na mtoto chini, akifanya mapenzi na mtoto chini ya miaka 12, kifungo ni maisha.
The report cited several reasons that have contributed to the vice, such as breakdown of cultural values, drug and substance abuse. Ben Chumba reporting for Channel 1 News.
Security matters now, and police in Kayole, Nairobi have recovered stolen goods of unknown value in Chokaa area. Area OCPD Wilson Kosgei says the goods, including television sets and gas cylinders, were seized following a tip-off from the youths in the locality.
Police in Kayole are searching for suspected criminals behind the theft of valuable goods recovered in Chokaa area, Kayole, Nairobi County. According to Area OCPD Wilson Kosgei, 3 television sets and 4 gas cylinders are among items recovered from homes believed to be occupied by suspects who are on the run.
Of recent, tumekuwa na wizi hapa Chokaa, ufunjaji wa manyumba, ufunjaji wa maduka, any house that contains anything valuable. Vijana wamekuwa wakifunja na kuchukua vitu. So as we are talking, this is a quarter of what was stolen as per the inventory. So vitu vingi sana zimeibiwa.
Kosgei says his team will not relent in curbing crime in the area.
Vijana ya ambayo walikuwa na occupy hiyo nyumba, they were not around. But ni watu ambayo wanajulikana. So ni chukumu ya huyu aki-collaborate na members of the public, nyumba 10 leadership, kufuatilia wa vijana ili washikwe na wapelekwe kotini. Tutafanya hivyo, basi wako na nafasi nyingine ya kufanya nini? Kutekeleza walifu.
Elsewhere in Narok County, a section of members from the Luasingishu Maasai clan have returned firearms and ammunition that were in their possession illegally to security agencies.
Sisi tumeshukuru serikali wakati walikuja tukapeana zile vitu ambayo walisema tupeane. Sisi kama wakazi tunaipenda amani sana. Sisi ni wakulima ambayo wakati ya hii shida tumepata hasara nyingi.
Transmara Deputy County Commissioner Hassan Noor confirmed the weapons were recovered after interventions from elders in the area. Noor at the same time issued a 4 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew to support the ongoing disarmament exercise.
Tulikana wazee tukawapatia siku 7 kurudisha ile silaha ambaye ilitumika katika ile vita ya Ngararu na Enosai. Na ningependa tu kusema kwamba wamezirudisha na tumeambia bado kama kuna zingine zimebaki bado zirudishwe.
Meanwhile, more police officers have been deployed in Ruiru, Kiambu County in an effort to curb insecurity.
Tumekuwa pia wale wanaoruka kwa fence wanavuja magari za watu, na kwa sasa nashukuru sana kwa sababu siku hii ya leo tumeweza kupata askari ambao wamekuja hapa eneo hili letu la Kuihota.
Ruiru MP Simon Kingara has urged locals to cooperate with the security agencies to end crime. Irene Mchuma, Udim, Channel 1.
Kajiado health workers have launched an aggressive sensitization campaign to educate residents about the novel coronavirus that causes COVID-19 that will see them traversing the vast county using a caravan. The move comes after it emerged that the majority of residents are flouting health guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health. Lack of physical distancing and poor hygiene are said to be the major challenges derailing the fight against the spread of the infectious disease.
A caravan that will be used by medics, village elders and clergy to move around the county is the recent tactic being used by Kajiado County government to sensitize residents on the threat posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. The move comes after efforts to have county askaris enforce compliance hit a snag. Kajiado Health Service Director Ezekiel Kapkwani says the Maa community continues to disregard the stipulated preventive measures.
Everyone is vulnerable. There is no one who is immune to this disease, at least that we know. So that means anybody can get this disease.
The county hopes the initiative will yield positive results as the number of residents arrested for failing to put on masks has been on the rise, especially in Kitengela. Elsewhere, residents of Mwingi North and Mwingi West have received sanitizers, face masks, soap and water tanks from local leaders in an effort to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Majority of beneficiaries were border operators and market traders.
Done that in a couple of centers in Mwingi North. The project is going to cover the entire constituency. We are targeting every small shopping center and market centers.
Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
On a tussle surrounding the succession of a parcel of land in Sobea, Rongai sub-county has taken a new twist after police moved in to enforce a court order. This is after one of the aggrieved parties hired armed youth to guard the expansive property that belonged to a late politician, Kiboen Komen.
There was drama at one of the land estates in Nakuru County after police moved in to enforce a court order. The security agents were forced to disperse armed youths who were guarding the property to obstruct the implementation of the orders. The family feud, pitting the second widow of Kiboen Komen and his daughter-in-law.
My client has faced a lot of resistance from one beneficiary called Grace Samson, who was given 450 acres. But the said beneficiary has sworn to make it impossible to have my client, Sote Komen, acquire her 150 acres.
According to a court ruling, Sote Komen was to be given 150 acres of the land in question. However, the other members of the family, led by Grace Samson Komen, were not happy with the judgment and moved to court to challenge the same. The petition was, however, dismissed, with the court upholding the initial orders.
I am aware that resistance has been from time to time, and my client has continued to be given police assistance in pursuance to a law of court order issued by the High Court here in Nakuru.
Workers had begun cultivating the portion but were chased away by goons allegedly hired by Grace. The advocate appealing to the aggrieved family members to seek legal redress instead of contravening court orders.
Let her move the High Court, let those orders be set aside, and once they are set aside, then my client will go home knowing she has no land. But for now, this land is lawfully owned by my client.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
We are taking our second short break, but when we come back, we make sense of business.
On the next episode of Elena's Ghost.
Mommy, I swear that I tried to get away from him, but he wouldn't stop asking me why I had left him.
Listen, I don't know why, but I feel as if I'm lying to Andrea.
But why would you? Oh no, don't tell me you're spending time with Milady.
You must know every homeless person around here. Yes or no?
Yes, because I've lived around here the longest.
That woman that I'm looking for hasn't been here for very long. They say she's a bit crazy.
Next on.
Due to my health condition, I will go after the project finishes. I'm sorry.
Nina moyo wa dhati. Bila shaka nitafaulu. Hello? Hello?
Sitakushukuru.
Next on Corner.
Last night, I came up with the most brilliant idea.
You have my attention.
Am I missing something here?
This gym is falling apart, Uncle Jimmy. Everything has changed since Wanjala's victory. We've entered into a comfort zone.
I don't think we have entered into a comfort zone.
I disagree.
Whatever you're selling, I'm not buying.
Please do, nisikize.
So they come crying to you again. I said my door was open. Why can't they come to me directly? I've earned that right.
We begin with the technological advances when it comes to internet right here in Kenya. The economy slowed from a growth rate of 6.3% to 5.4% in 2019 as the sectors, save for the services-oriented ones, recorded depressed growth. The growth helped create 846,000 new jobs, a majority of them in the informal sector, which now has 767,900 new jobs. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani said this year's economic performance will largely be dependent on how long the COVID-19 pandemic lasts. He, however, says most projections for this year are unlikely to be met.
You know, most of the economic activities have so far been slowed down by restrictions resulting from containment and cessation of sections of the population, the nationwide curfew, and stoppage of international passenger travel. Weak global economy is likely to negatively impact on Kenya's exports, most of horticultural products, as well as the tourism sector. In the short term, the government fiscal policies in national budget are likely to focus on reorientation of expenditure to initiatives aimed at control and eventual elimination of the COVID-19 in the country.
Some tech news now. Poor network connectivity across Kenya will by next month be a thing of the past after Google Loon internet balloons are fully deployed. Speaking to Channel 1, ICT Principal Secretary Dr. Jerome Ochieng says the Loon internet balloons will benefit areas that had previously been without mobile network coverage, such as those that are commercially non-viable, mountainous areas, or those regions with high insecurity cases.
President Uhuru Kenyatta last month announced that the government had approved Google Loon services in Kenya to enable those in remote areas access internet services.
This intervention will enable Kenya to retain her competitive advantage in ICT and innovation in the midst of the current crisis, while at the same time laying foundations for greater expansion once the current health challenge.
Speaking to KBC Channel 1, ICT Principal Secretary Dr. Jerome Ochieng said in the next 2 weeks, Google Loon internet balloons will be fully airborne in Kenya, ushering 100% internet connectivity across the country.
We see ourselves being in the next 2 to 3 weeks' time, actually being able to roll out the first Loon project in the country, and this will really help us have the 100% coverage. So very soon, give ourselves 2 to 3 weeks, and we should be able to resolve this issue.
The balloons were launched in Nakuru and have since covered the counties of Nairobi, Machakos, Kiambu, Kajiado, Garissa, and Tana River. Dr. Ochieng says the internet balloons will overcome challenges that have seen some areas not have mobile network coverage, such as mountainous terrain, commercially non-viable areas, and insecurity.
The fact that we are having them up the sky is an advantage in the sense that we should be able now to go beyond the limitation of base stations on the ground, because you have some areas whereby there is interference because of the existence of a mountain. There is interference because you cannot put a base station in an area, especially with the problem we are having in northern part of the country, issues relating to security and things like that.
Nairobi, Nyeri, and Nakuru will offer support to the internet balloon access to an internet signal. This comes at a time when Kenya is mulling over the rollout of a 5G network.
As a country, we are at the test stage. We are actually at the pilot stage, and a number of mobile network operators are coming in to do their pilot. So we have not really rolled out, but we are at the pilot stage.
So far, 7 firms are carrying out trials on the 5G network. Regina Manyara-Gital reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Further afield, Egypt is in talks with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, for 1-year financial assistance to cope with the recession caused by the coronavirus pandemic. And by November 2016, Egypt had secured $12 billion in support package from the IMF, the last tranche of which was disbursed last year. Here are the details of this story and other stories from the African continent. International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva has confirmed receipt of a request from Egypt for emergency support via a rapid financing instrument. The cash is expected to help Egypt meet immediate needs in terms of balance of payments and to support sectors affected by the coronavirus pandemic, as well as the most vulnerable Egyptians. Egypt's Prime Minister says the recent shutdown of the tourism and civil aviation to contain the spread of the virus has been a key factor in this new request for international assistance. In 2019, tourism alone, just recovering from several years of political and security instability, earned Egypt $12.9 billion. Since the popular uprising in 2011 that ousted former President Hosni Mubarak from power, the Egypt economy has experienced difficulties and struggled to recover. Elsewhere, French energy firm Total says it will still continue production of 190,000 barrels per day in its sites in Congo Republic, even after 2 of its staff tested positive for coronavirus. Total said it activated its pandemic plan after the first case was confirmed to ensure continuity of its activity and was postponing non-routine operations. Contact subjects are systematically identified and placed in isolation while the sites are disinfected on a regular basis. Congo's economy is expected to contract 9% in 2020 due to the coronavirus epidemic and a collapse in oil prices. Finally, Ethiopian Airlines has ramped up its cargo services as one way to boost its revenues after its passenger services came to almost a complete halt due to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. The airline says its cargo business has grown at least 3 times over the past few months and is converting passenger planes to cargo planes to take advantage of the rising trade in cargo businesses. Over the last 10 years, Ethiopian flag carrier has aggressively invested in cargo planes and services facilities, which has finally paid off. Ethiopian Airline is involved in transporting hundreds of thousands of tons of medical consignments, mainly from China and the rest of the world, to Africa. And still on oil, British Petroleum BP's first quarter profit tumbled by 2/3 and its debt climbed to its highest level in 5 years as the coronavirus crisis hammered oil demands. The company has, however, kept its dividend despite warning that it was facing an exceptional level of uncertainty in the near term after a sharp reduction in demand for its products. Here are details of this and other stories from across the globe.
London-based BP said it expected significantly lower refining margins in the second quarter when the global restrictions on movement to halt the spread of coronavirus reached their peak, throttling consumption of gasoline, diesel and jet fuel. The company says oil and gas production faced significant uncertainties linked to tumbling demand for oil and plunging prices, as well as proposals by oil-producing countries to reduce global supplies of crude by about 10%. BP has so far resisted cutting its dividend after raising it in February, even though some investors have said top oil and gas companies should consider reducing shareholder payouts. Norway's Equinor became the first big oil firm to cut its dividend, reducing its first quarter payout by 2/3 and suspending a $5 billion share buyback. Elsewhere, Boeing will need to borrow more money over the next 6 months and does not expect to pay dividends again for years, as the company wrestles with industry fallout from the coronavirus and the grounding of its 737 MAX jets. Boeing is trying to bring its 737 MAX jet back into service after 2 fatal crashes. Even as the aviation industry slumps, because of the coronavirus, which has dried up demand for passenger air travel. Boeing CEO says he expects it will take 2 to 3 years for travel to return to 2019 levels and an additional few years more for the industry's long-term trend growth to return. Finally, Nissan expects to post its first annual operating loss in 11 years as the Japanese automaker struggles to recover from plunging vehicle sales as the coronavirus pandemic has sapped demand for cars. Japan's number 2 automaker says it expects an annual operating loss of as much as 45 billion yen, down from a previous forecast announced in February for an operating profit of 85 billion yen. It expects to post a net loss of as much as 95 billion yen, compared with a previous forecast for about 65 billion yen profit. Nissan is bracing for its worst financial performance since the 2008 global financial crisis, when it posted an operating loss of 137.9 billion yen.
Time to play now. Everton striker Moise Kean, who is 20 years, has been linked with the move to Napoli. The Italian is said to be disciplined by Everton after breaking government's coronavirus guidelines earlier this week. Kean was filmed at a house party in breach of government's coronavirus guideline, and as of 27th April, more than 20,000 people have died from the coronavirus in the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Monday the country was at a moment of maximum risk and that he could not determine when lockdown measures would be lifted. Kean joined Everton in August for £25 million from Juventus, but has scored only once in 26 appearances.
But also over the crossbar. Great football from Everton.
And that report from the beautiful game of soccer. We wrap up Channel 1 lunchtime news. Lucy Moura has been our sign language interpreter for this afternoon. From me, Bentro Enjoy, thank you so much indeed for watching. Don't forget, we'll be bringing you live coverage of the Health CES daily media briefing on the coronavirus pandemic. Remember to keep clean, keep safe, keep the distance, and of course, keep the faith. Good afternoon.